Alright, good Saturday morning. We're at the Loves, just off of I-10 outside of Mobile, Alabama. We got about a half hour from where we're going in Pascagoula, and we're staying here for the weekend. So, like I said, good Saturday. This was our load coming out of Florida. There's just one steel I-beam under there. Why they wanted it tarped, I don't know, but it was just sitting outside to begin with. But that's what we got, taking it down to Pascagoula, and not much else to it than that. But we're gonna do some work on the truck today. So I still gotta fix that light back here, so that's what I'm gonna do. So replace the wire on that, and then that sensor, I finally picked up that sensor when I was down there in Florida. Had that put in, and that did not fix my issue. So I'll show you. Let's see. So that new sensor's right up in there, and that's in there, but that did not fix my issue. And I believe I found where my issue is now. So we're gonna go over here. Before my engine rebuild, this wire harness that sits here, you can see it's pretty loose and floppy. Before, you can almost see on the data plate, that marking, that's from the wire loom. It sat nice and tight up against there, like you could not move it. I guess since after the rebuild, that was not put up very tight. And that runs down under there, underneath the fan pulley. And it basically services all the electronics on the passenger side of the truck. So the water temp sensors, both of them are over there. The one I replaced and the new one. Your turbo, your AC, probably a few other things. It services everything over there. And right now we've gotten to the point where the fan runs constantly. It never turns off anymore. And my guess is it's down there, it's rubbing, and yeah, because it's actually behaving a lot like my speedometer. When the speedometer was melting on top of the transmission, that's what it reminds me of. But I don't know how well you can see it, but that harness runs right at the center of your screen. It runs right through there, comes back around, and you can see the second water temp sensor right there in the center, and that T-junction, that's where that harness comes out to. If we look right here, a lot of the shielding has since worn away. That's all the wires right there that runs through there, at least part of it. They don't have color anymore, and they're all just braided together. And like I said, that stuff comes over here to the turbo, AC, and some other stuff. So basically, I could inspect that harness. I would have to take the fan off, and then that bracket, come back over to this side again. That bracket, it's just 4 bolts, would have to come off. And then obviously the belt, it's doable, but we're risking damaging other parts of this harness here. So I'm gonna do what the other guy in the comments suggested, which I've been debating, just haven't decided. We're gonna bypass it. So the way we're gonna bypass the fan, up there on the solenoid, or on the firewall side, trying to see if you can see it. Anyways, up there is the fan control solenoid. That green air line's coming out of. All that solenoid does is when it has power, it provides air to the fan clutch, which turns it off. It needs air to disengage. When it doesn't have air, the fan runs. So all I gotta do is send power to that, and I'll turn the fan off regardless of what the computer is saying. Because, well, that's after everything. That's the end of the electrical line for the fan system. So I'm just gonna run a hot wire to it. It's gonna be ran through a switch, so I can turn it off and on in the cab, and basically this truck never runs hot, so unless I'm climbing a really long hill, I shouldn't have to use the fan. But basically anytime I'm running hard, like up a long hill or something like that, keep an eye on the water temp gauge and turn it on if need be. But realistically, I shouldn't have to turn it on much at all. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna send power to it and bypass the fan, because next week I got all of next week planned. Now, I did not take this load for the money. I took this load for the experience. It pays okay. I would like to see it pay more, but I wanted 1 week where things were just easy and I could just drive. So we're picking up just south of Jackson, Mississippi, and we're gonna go out to Denver, Colorado. We're taking an engine of some sort. It's gotta be tarped, 13,000 pounds. We'll take an engine out there to Colorado and then swap out with the core return and bring that back to Mississippi. So we'll pick up on Monday morning, late Monday morning, and then supposed to deliver on Wednesday and then be back here, or back in Mississippi for Friday. So that'll take care of my entire week. So that also means videos might be a little slow for that week, because this is going to be repetitive driving and driving. I'll be sure to get some stuff for you. And yeah, so basically right now just got to deliver this beam in the morning. Like I said, we're about a half hour away. Then it's about a 2.5 hour drive up north to get our engine and then hit the road. So I cleaned up the truck a while, what was it, yesterday? So the truck's clean and ready for the drive. Fuel is at the $5 a gallon range, even with my discount, so that's gonna hurt a little bit. But I'm hoping when I turn this engine fan off, I should get decent fuel economy, because the problem is I've been running light. This is only 600 pounds, and then that crate that I ran was 1,700 pounds. I know it was a big wind jammer, but between those two loads, I'm only getting like 8.5 miles to the gallon at the moment, which is not good, and that's because that fan's always running. I should be able to, at that type of weight, be able to get around 10. So I'm hoping with that fan shut off and this engine on here, it's a little heavy. It's just a little tall. I think it's right at 6.5 feet tall, so it'll stick up over that headboard by about a foot. But I'm hoping I'll get decent fuel economy going out there, and maybe somewhere around the 9 range, which will make me feel a little bit better. So anyways, that's that. I'm gonna work on this tail light, bypass that fan, and we'll go from there. quick. We just got that stuff done. So I actually had just gone over there to the Speedco and got my AC system recharged. So I have air conditioning again, feels nice, but today I don't need it. I mean, it's only like 70 degrees out right now, so this is windows down weather. But I got everything hooked up for the engine fan thing. As of right now, because the truck, you know, isn't hot, the engine fan isn't turning on, so I can't tell if it's actually working, but in theory it should work. One thing that I've noticed though is, so my switch is down here. I'm gonna like stick it to the side of the steering wheel frame here soon. So down is what would be off, so engine fan, actually no, down would be on for the engine fan, so no power going to it, so off in terms of power. If I flip it up, it should cancel the engine fan, send power to the engine fan to turn it off. One thing that I noticed though is if it's on when I turn the key, so actually let's try it. So if we flip it on, so it's now getting power, and I turn the key, I should get a check engine light. Yeah, so it doesn't like having power set to it when the truck is off and then turned on. And if I turn it off, the check engine light stays. But let's see. So if I turn the key back off, turn it back on, check engine light should be gone. So nothing. And now if I flip that switch, the light doesn't come on. So it might still come on as I'm driving. Hang on. So yeah, it might still trip a check engine light when I'm driving. So let's say the computer wants the fan to be on, so it forces to cut power to it. So the computer wants it on, and I tell it to stay off. It's probably going to trip that check engine light, because it's going to sense that something isn't right here. Why is this solenoid still getting power? So it shouldn't affect driving. We'll find out when we leave. But I might have to deal with a check engine light for a little bit until we get that fixed. So anyways, that's that. I got air conditioning now. I fixed a little air leak behind the dash. One of the air lines for the suspension dump had a very teeny tiny hole in it. And man, I suddenly got the hiccups. And so I just cut out from that hole. I then again went over to Speedco and I just got one of the 1/4 inch, you know, airline quick connect fittings. And so I just cut the hole out, put the quick connect in there, put it back together. Air leak's gone. So that's that. The only other thing I want to do today is I'm going to check and air up my tires, since a couple of them have a very, very slow leak, and usually after about a week I need to quit airing them. So that's the only thing left that I'm going to do. But other than that, I'm done for this weekend. I'm going to relax. I'm going to edit this video for you guys. And then we got ourselves a busy week next week. So that's it. Appreciate you guys for watching. And I'll talk to you later.